Before I get started on this week's episode of Top 5 Not to Buy, I do want to take a second to say rest in peace to Ray Stevenson. I'm wearing my Punisher shirt in memoriam to the actor who starred in Punisher Warzone and so many other Volstagg in the Marvel movies. He's going to be in Star Wars. He's going to be in Ahsoka, and just a lot of great films. And it's an actor that I think a lot of us really remember and cherish. And I just wanted to take a second to honor him and say rest in peace. Hi, I'm Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and welcome to my Top 5 Not to Buy. This is the list where I take a look at all of the hot comic book lists for trending books, like the Key Collector Trending 20, the CBSI Hot 10, and COVRPRICE Top 10, and I pick my 5 least favorite books from that list, and I call those my top 5 not to buy. Remember, I'm not necessarily talking about the quality of these books, and I'm not saying if you find them in a dollar bin, you shouldn't buy them. I'm just saying I wouldn't rush out to eBay and order these at the current FMV that's going to be a little bit inflated because of their appearances on those lists, because I see these books being the least likely to ever go anywhere but down. And don't forget, I do follow up on prices 6 months and 1 year later for these lists, so follow along for those videos if you'd like. Okay, at number 5 on the list, we have Marvel Super Special number 1. This is the Kiss issue, and so I am not a card-carrying member of the Kiss army. I don't have much love for Kiss. It's kind of like just one of those weird things to me. And I don't mean to insult you if you are a Kiss fan. If you are a Kiss fan, this is probably a very important book to you, and probably one that you already own, I would imagine. This book is currently spiking because we have a 275% increase in sales, according to Key Collector, based on the fact that we do have Gene Simmons buying a production company for feature films. I don't really care. I don't think there's going to be much to really glean from this in the future. It's a great time to sell this book, in my opinion, and if you're a collector and really want it for your collection because you're a big Kiss fan, I think there's going to be some better times to buy it ahead. At number 4 on the list, we have Superman number 4 from the current run. This is the Big Time Collectibles Bizarro style purple variant with the logo. I am absolutely sick of these. I think I'm not the only one. Look, it's a cool concept, but it's been beaten into the ground. Anybody who's looking to collect all these, I've hardcore collectors that absolutely love these. I've already heard them say that they're not picking up all of these. This one's a little more unique, a little more interesting, but man, by the time they're done with these, they are going to drive any potential value into the ground, in my opinion. I think if you're looking to get any of these, make sure you get in very early on whatever pre-orders they do. I haven't been tracking that, but that's my advice. Or feel free to wait, and you probably can get them for a sweet discount down the road. But that is the other factor. I bet you a lot of these will be locked up in collectors' personal collections for a while. They're not going to hold on to them because they like them for display or whatever they want to do with them, right? So in a way, I think that there are going to be less copies of this available, which is why I would recommend getting in early if you're going to pick these kinds of books up. But I am just done with this gimmick. It appeared on the list. I'm glad I finally get a chance to talk about it. I am not buying into any of these. I don't care if it's Green Lantern. I don't care if it's Batman. I don't care if it's Wonder Woman. I don't care if it's Superman. I'm done. Next up, we have Batgirls 18. This is the 1 in 25 variant. There's really not much for this book to go on. It's a graffiti variant. It's not an amazing one. Like, honestly, if this was an A cover, I'd be like, all right, that's cool. But for a 1 in 25, I'm not impressed by it. Are you? Let me know in the comments down below, because I don't know who's really after this book right now. Ben did bring up an amazing point, which is that in number 18 in the run, a run like this especially, there's probably not a lot of these floating around. So there's the scarcity argument. But, at a certain point, there's ratios for every scarce issue or hard to collect issue. And unless people really gravitate towards that series down the line, there's nothing to really increase the value of this book. The one example that I see a lot of people point to are the last few issues of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, the Marvel series for G.I. Joe. Those are expensive books and they're hard to find, but that's a beloved series that a lot of people like to collect as a full run. So when you get to those issues, they're important. Are a lot of people really going to be collecting the entire run of Batgirls, 10, 20, 30 years from now? We'll see. I just don't think they will. All right, for the last couple books on the list, I do have to give a spoiler warning. This is, in my opinion, kind of a mild spoiler warning, but it does pertain to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and that's still out in theaters, so I want to give everybody a chance to kind of, understand that there are potentially some spoilers here. Nothing that really happens other than, kind of one of those things where, like, you can sense by the fact that I'm talking about these books and these characters that they're probably still around, right? So that's just kind of the spoiler warning I'd give. I think you're probably pretty safe to watch, but if you really care about that, I would go ahead and click off. All right, the first book I'm going to talk about is Tales to Astonish number 46. This is the first appearance of Kraglin, and it is experiencing, according to Key Collector, a 233% increase in sales of copies sold. And look, I get it, Kraglin is still going to be kicking around, but what are the Guardians of the Galaxy after this movie? Are they just going to appear in other movies going forward? Are we going to get another standalone Guardians of the Galaxy film? I'm really skeptical. Kraglin's been in several films by now, and at this point, who cares? I just don't think there's much to this character to drive the value. He's kind of a fun character, but even in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, he didn't really have much to do. It just doesn't seem like this is a character that I think is going to continue to drive the value of this book. That said, this is a cool classic book. People will like it for lots of other reasons, or there are going to be completionists about collecting Guardians of the Galaxy books. So by no means are we going to look at this book 6 months from now and say that it's worth nothing. That's just not going to happen, but it's probably not going to have skyrocketed in value either. Which brings us to our number one book, which is Avengers 112, which is the first appearance of Mantis. Much like my number two pick, all the same logic applies here. We've had Mantis in tons of movies. Yes, she's still going to be a character going forward in Guardians of the Galaxy for, again, whatever that means for the MCU. But honestly, just what is there to this character that we haven't already seen? First of all, the character of Mantis is much different in the movies than she is in the comics. She is probably kind of growing into her own a little bit. She's been a very tenured member of the Guardians at this point. But still, I just don't see much going on for this character in the foreseeable future. The only saving grace for this book is it's Avengers 112, and a lot of people are going to want to collect this book regardless. It is a key in that run, and so it's always going to hold a base amount of value. This may have set a new floor for the value on that book. I have a feeling when we look at it 6 months to 1 year down the road that we're going to see that it's slightly up in value, and it'll stay that way for a while. Because a lot of books are dropping right now, and if there's any kind of reason for a classic book and a classic run to have a higher value, that's going to happen. Same thing for the number two pick is probably going to be true as well. But yeah, that's my pick for the number one book not to buy this week. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which books are you picking up? Which books are you avoiding? I'd love to hear about that. On your way down into the comments, you can consider becoming a channel member. My channel members enjoy several different benefits, and their names also appear on the screen right now. They're amazing human beings to help me make this channel every week, and I definitely appreciate that. And until next time, I want to remind you, as always, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.